Okay, so this is the technique that I prefer when I'm sampling for either amphibian larvae or for macroinvertebrates in the water, aquatic ones. I'll first take my container, get some water in it, set that on the side, and then I'll do several sweeps with my net. I don't want to, and I'll demonstrate on the ground here, I don't want to put it down and then drag it across the bottom. That does two things. It takes up a lot of sediment, and then if there are any amphibian larvae or small tadpoles, it could crush a number of them. So I want to be careful about that. So what I'm going to do is put it down on the bottom, and then very gently do sweeps, but I won't drag it. I'll actually just put it down, lift it up, put it down, lift it up, move it like that. So when I put it into the water, I'm going to go down, and usually I'll go in a circle or some kind of little S-curve and gradually pick stuff up, and then all of that gets put into my tray. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and what I'll do now is use my fingers and I'll shake the leaf litter and move that out. And if there's anything in there, it usually comes loose and it'll settle down at the bottom. And then after that, when I get most of it out, you'll always have a little detritus at the bottom. I'll let that settle for a moment. And then I start looking with a net to see what they have in there. And likewise with the net, I don't push it right against the side. I set it gently down on the bottom, and then I slowly move it along again, so I'm not accidentally crushing something. And what I typically do as well is I'll have a second container, and this will have clear water in it, and then as I catch stuff, I'll simply let it fall in, whoops, unless it goes into the water, and I'll get another one. So that's actually a second thing. When you have your containers set up, have them set in the water or right on the edge. So if a bug jumps out, it gets away, it gets back into the water. If I had moved these 10 feet in, where it's just dry leaf litter, that organism is probably going to die if I can't find it fast enough. So that way, if something does get away, no harm done, just an embarrassment to yours truly there. Okay, so this time we've got some kind of diving beetle there. And the other thing I can do with this container sometimes, once it settles a bit, I'll let some water pour out, and I'll keep my net right there, so if something shoots out, I grab it right away. And by removing some of the water, when you look at it, it's easier to find stuff if there's smaller items in there. And in this particular case, I'm not seeing anything, but sometimes there are side-swimming shrimp or even tiny little water boatmen or stuff like that. So that's essentially the gist of it. And then once I'm finished with everything, I double check that my net is completely free of any little creatures that may have been caught in it. And I never pour stuff back into the water. I set the pan down or the tray down and I tilt it and just let everything go out that way.